Well, hello my darlings, and welcome back to our channel. I am so glad you are here. Today we are going to be creating a vertical mirrored candelabra. I sure do hope you'll stay tuned. For this project, you will need 4 of these black wrought iron candle holders. You will need some tea light candles, whether wax ones or non-flammable. You will need some zip ties, preferably black ones. You will need some dry floral foam, any size, any shape of your choice. You will need 5 of the Dollar Tree squared mirrors as well as some diamond wrap. You will need some flowers, any color, any type of your choosing. You will need some glass prisms, and you are going to need 12 of these mirrored photo frames. You will also need 2 more of them that you can use to source some individual mirrors. Of course, you will need your handy dandy tools. Let's get crafting. So here we have this cube that I am repurposing from another craft that we did a few weeks ago. And what I will do, if you are interested in seeing how I created this cube, I will place the video in the description box below. And all I did was I removed the pearls that were originally there and the flowers, and I etched this cube in diamond wrap instead so that it will be able to flow with the design of the mirror tower that we are creating today. So here we have 2 of our cube candle holders that we are going to join one atop the other. And if you notice, that iron is very thin, and in terms of surface area to glue those pieces together, there is not much. And so what I have opted to do instead is use zip ties to attach these pieces one to the other. Now, as the saying goes, hindsight is 20/20. And if I had the opportunity to create this project once again, I would opt to use black zip ties instead of the white ones, as the black zip ties would meld better or be camouflaged better with the black iron. But as you can see, I'm not necessarily worrying about placement at this point in time. I'm going to go in and I'm going to place 1 zip tie on each side of my cube, and then I'm going to tighten it. Once I have found my placement and I am certain that these cubes are nicely secured tightly together, I am then going to cut off the excess ends before I continue to go ahead off camera and place the other 2 sides. So I am going to continue this process off camera, then I'm going to place my other 2 candelabras on top, and I'll be back. So here we have our tower of 4 candelabras that we have just attached one to the other using our zip ties. Again, I humbly urge you to use the black instead of the white. And what we're going to do now to adhere this tower to our mirrored cube is go in with a mixture of that epoxy in a generous portion at the base of that tower. Now again, remember, there's not much surface area there, so this is why, as you can see with that epoxy dripping, I'm going in with heaping portions, because I want to make sure that when I do place this tower atop my mirrored cube, it is going to set in place and cure securely. So once I have placed my epoxy on my tower, I am going to find my placement, and in doing so I'm going to apply some pressure and then allow this to dry for about 10 minutes. So here is our tower that has been very securely adhered to our mirror cube. And what we're going to do right now is start to build our tower using our mirrored frames. Now again, we are going to run into the problem of not having very much surface area upon which to place our glue. And so what you can see I'm doing here is I showed you how I went in and I placed some permanent glue, some dabs of permanent glue, in addition to some dabs of hot glue, and I glued that mirror to those two beams or wires, if you will. Now that I have done that and I've set that foundation, it's going to be a little easier for me to go in and place some more glue to glue down my second panel. And the reason for this is the side of that mirror is going to give me more surface area upon which to place my glue, as well as, and in addition to, upon which to place that mirror so that it will be able to set. So here I am. I went in with a few beads of that permanent glue, and then I'm going to go over that permanent glue with my hot glue. And once I have placed my foundation of glue, I am then going to take that mirror. I'm going to find my placement, and then I'm going to apply some pressure to make sure that that mirror is engaged with that glue. Now this part of the process, my darlings, is a very tedious one, but I promise you, with a little bit of patience and finagling, you will be able to lay your tiles expertly. So I am going to continue the process off camera with the other two, and then I'll be back to show you how to stack the other mirrors. So here we have our tower with our first layer of mirrored frames that we have placed down. Now what I'm going to show you is how to continue this process going up your second and third layer. And as you can see here, because of that first layer, we now have some additional surface area upon which we can place our glue. Unfortunately, when placing glue on the sides, we still only have the slight piece of wire upon which to place that glue, but the edge of the first mirror is going to help us out a bit. So once you have taken your measure to see how high up you're going to need to place that glue, it is simply a matter of laying your foundation of that permanent glue, going up the wire in gobs or pellets as opposed to a stream, and then placing your glue on top of that first mirror that we placed. Once you have placed your foundation of that permanent glue, it is simply then going to be a matter of mirroring that foundation of that permanent glue with your hot glue and then placing your mirror. So once again, you're going to go in with dabs as opposed to a stream, placing your hot glue, using the same pattern as you did before for your permanent glue, and then you're going to take your mirrored frame, place the bottom first, making sure those tiles are lined up, and then you're going to apply some pressure and hold that mirror in place to make sure that that glue is being engaged with those wires. So I'm going to continue this process, laying both my second layer and my third layer of mirrors, and then I'll be back to tell you what's next. So here we have our tower that has been partially completed, and what we're going to do now is we're going to use some diamond wrap to cover or conceal the edges of our mirror where they meet on either side. And to do this, all I simply did was took the measurement of diamond wrap that I needed, cut one strand of that diamond wrap of that length, and now as you can see, I'm going in with my hot glue gun into that crevice, and then I'm simply going to take that strand of diamond wrap and I'm going to lay it into the hot glue. I'm going to continue this process off camera with my other 3 sides, and then I'll be back to tell you what's next. So here we have our tower that has been etched in all 4 corners with our diamond wrap to match the pattern of our base below. Now, if you notice up here, there is an empty space where our mirrored frames end and our candle holders still continue. My initial thought was to source some of these mirrored pieces from some of our mirrored frames to close in the top of our tower, but instead I'm going to use my candles pretty much like we did in Wednesday's video to overlap and obscure that empty space. In addition, I thought that I was going to use some of those mirror pieces that I sourced to cover up that black beam that is going across the middle of those mirrored frames. But again, I thought if I used those, I would have obscured the beauty of the flame inside of those candle holders, and so I opted not to do so. So what I'm going to show you now is just very simply how we are going to place our foam atop of our candle holders to make sure that it is secure, so that when you're placing these or your guests are moving and bumping into the table, your floral arrangement doesn't fall off. And to do that, just quite simply, we're going to go in with a few bullets of that hot glue, and then we're going to place our foam in it. It depends, whatever size of foam, whatever shape of flower you would like, the option is completely yours. Once you have placed your foam, it is simply now a matter of creating your floral arrangement. And I would say to you, as I just mentioned earlier, make sure that when you're placing your first set of flowers, there is some overlap over the open space of our tower. Lastly, I took our glass prisms, I opened the O-ring, and I simply attached it to the first wire beam that is there. So I am going to continue making my floral arrangements. I'm going to clean this up, I'm going to stage the table, and then I'll be back to show you what our finished project looks like. Well, here you have it, my darlings, our vertical mirrored candelabra. Isn't this piece absolutely sophisticated? Right off the bat, I think I'm going to have to say that my favorite part is the mirrored aspect of this piece. Nothing to me says clean, pure, and crisp better than a mirrored surface. And if you look at this piece, from the mirrored frames that we used to the square mirrors that we incorporated into our base, to the glass prisms that we used to catch the beauty of that candlelight, to even the diamond wrap, this piece is giving you reflection from the top all the way to the bottom. I think, my darlings, I will have to say that we have nailed yet another project. And so, if you have found any value in this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, as well as leave me a comment in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. To my Danny's darlings, as usual and as always, I would like to thank you guys for all of the comments, the questions, the interactions, suggestions, the love, and most of all, the encouragement. Please know that none of it is wasted, and I appreciate each and every one of you. To those of you who may not yet be Danny's darlings, however, we would like to invite you to kindly consider joining our ever-growing community of DIYers as we learn from and craft with each other on a weekly basis. If you so choose to subscribe to our channel today, also be sure to take it one step further and click the notification bell to ensure that you are made aware whenever any of our videos have been published. Well, my darlings, before I sign off today, I am going to leave you with the motto to our channel, which is simply this. Say it with me if you know it. Why buy when you can DIY? And so, my darlings, my loves, until next time, I say to you, please, please, please take care of yourselves for me. Know that I love you all. Bye now.